Good afternoon. It is June 9th, 2022, and we had what looked like it would be a range day turn out to be a pretty good trend down. I'm pretty sure this flatter channel is accurate, but I wasn't taking that too seriously because of the overnight lows that were holding prices. But then, this wedge becomes, when it breaks out here, I'm definitely thinking, okay, we're probably going to go test these highs, or at least this midline, and we didn't make it there. So we get the break of this channel, and we form this channel, and this channel has just been on the move. So there are some good trades in here today, in my opinion, the way I thought. So we'll take a look. We have this spike in channel down. I think 5 o'clock comes in. It looks like somewhere around here. Nothing in here you can jump in on. Too far from the EMA. We formed this range here, so you might consider this like a double test right here. But I don't know. It doesn't touch the EMA. We are due for a new low, but I don't think you want to take that. And then up here we have a first entry, second entry right at the opening. All these buyers coming in. So you might risk that. It looks like one channel up. That's what I don't like about it. Then we come here and you have a first entry, failed second entry, and I think that's where all these longs had to exit. I'm not too sure. I don't think I would really be looking too heavily at this in real time. That kind of looks like it works as a midline, but I don't know. I don't think that's one I would really be seeing in real time. I'd probably be thinking long myself. So that traps a bunch of longs. Come down here, and we form this new low, and we bounce. And there's no way to enter this, in my opinion. Form this congestion up here, and it fails a few times. You get a failure right here, so you might consider that. It's below the EMA. Prices should have, this is a second entry long, so prices should have went higher, and they didn't. So, that could be a really nice trap, and it is a really nice trap. Prices tried to go higher once, twice, 3, maybe even 4 times and failed. So when you get that failure, you might consider that. We bounce off the opening price, and this looked like a repeat of this leg up that failed to go higher. You can see it's failing to go higher here. Come up here. This kind of looks like failed break higher, but it looks, I wasn't trying to go long because this looks like we broke higher into this range. And then this is all too congestive, I think. Then we come down here, and that looked like it was in the bottom of the trend channel, so I didn't like any of this. And it's far from the EMA. And you get an overshoot, comes back up, makes this lower high, and that's a second entry short. So you might consider that, but I just am looking at it like this is my channel. So I don't know. We make one leg, 2 legs down to a new low, but we haven't actually had a break yet. So you get a first entry, second entry, and you're right at the overnight lows. You had to overshoot. If you drag this down, does it work? Yeah. And if you drag this down, arguing that this is the low of the channel, well, we come up short right here. So it's all stuff you got to keep in mind. Second entry, you might have gotten a scalp off this anyway. 88.50, nah. Yeah, you got 2 ticks. So once you get that sideways, look to at least get out at break even, maybe, if you enter there. And we're just chopping back and forth, and this looks like a double test kind of, but it's so congestive. It's also looks like a second entry long. Get this leg up, and this confirms our trend channel right here. So I drew it off the lows, and then you drag it up to the highs, and that's how you find that. But on a range day, you might not be looking for that. So I think especially if you see that, you got to take this failure. That bullish, that's like a, or bearish, that's like a failed break higher. I think that's a great entry. Make a lower high right here. I think this technically is second entry short, but it looks like a range at that point, and I don't think you want to be taking it. We test the overnight low, or at least the low I had over here. Test it again, and you get a failure right here. And if you don't like that, I think you got to enter here. That's so low risk, high or low. Yeah. And then we're just getting higher lows right here. This bounces off the EMA. So you might think about that, but not if you have this trend channel. There's room to those highs. It's just risky. It's not really according to trade taken to any rule. So let me just delete that. But you can say we got a break. Looks like one leg, two legs up to a new high before it goes sideways. And this looked like it might be a spike in channel. And I was looking at this like, we form this low right here, and then this comes and tests it. So you might look at this as a first failed second entry, but I think that's pushing it. Especially if you have this trend channel, you definitely don't want to be pushing it to go long when we're probably going to be making a new low soon. This is a second entry long off the opening price, so you might consider that. But anyway, we come up here, first entry, second entry, not a good signal bar, lower high. But we don't know if we're going higher right now. I'm going to delete this. I was looking for a second entry long. It didn't come, and maybe I was looking for a failure. I don't know. No, I was probably. But look how played out this is, the correction. That's something I've noticed is when you keep drawing these legs of correction and they're just like failing. Trust the overall bias. But I was looking for a second entry long because I was expecting it to be a range day. So that makes sense. That logic or idea makes sense too. So you just gotta learn this skill, and years of looking at prices. You can't expect to know it right away. You see this looks like we tested this high, go a little bit below what I had marked as the lows, and we form this leg of correction, slight overshoot. Now we have a potential trend channel, and break, move to a new low. I think matching low. First entry failed, second entry long. I just like this. It was off my trend channel, so I took it. This midline looked pretty darn clear to be a midline at this point, so I like that. If you don't like that, you got a second entry short right here. Both of those work out. Come down here, you got a second entry short off the trend channel. Still haven't had a pretty convincing break. You might take this failure, but this is congestive over here, so I was a little nervous about that. And we come down here, and you get a first entry, second entry, but that's not a new high. But it's just such a bearish bar. But if you're patient, you get the lower high right here, and you can ride that for a 54.25, about a 10-point move. So some good entries today, and you can see it's still selling off. This is a really nice trend down. So that's how I saw it today. We'll get one last look at the chart. Hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.